Hello ladies and welcome to Rock Your Decade. My name's Loretta and on this channel I hope to be an inspiration and encouragement to ladies from their 50s on to their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s and beyond on how to, should I say, level up and navigate life as it is now, because it's different. It's different from our mothers, it's different from our grandmothers. It is different and we need a space in which to talk about it. And so if you like lifestyle, if you're interested in wellness, if you're interested in health, travel, food and the fashions, please join and subscribe and let's build a community. Things we're definitely not doing in 2026. Well, that's if you're over 50 anyway. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm going to be using my iPad because I have written all my notes down here and I don't want to forget them. And so I've got 3 points here. I thought I'd make it into a kind of series. So let's go. Number 1, self-diagnosing. We're not doing that in 2026. I know of a lot of people in their 60s that unfortunately have either passed away or have had to deal with serious other symptoms just because they decided to self-diagnose. The internet is great. I love it. I've just come into ChatGPT. I love looking at Google for things like perfumes and other things outside of the weather. But when it comes to knowing about my health, I am not self-diagnosing. What I might do is say, I've got a pain in my leg. What could it be? And I might put it into Google and it will come up with da 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 da. What I will do then is, if it is something that I need that paracetamol can't cope with, I'll book an appointment, speak to my doctor and tell him these are the things that ChatGPT said. What do you think, doctor? These are the symptoms. What do you think, doctor? And take it from there. Please, we're not self-diagnosing. You're not a doctor. These are the times when we can get more information. But we need information that is specific to you. You don't need to be going around with diabetes. You don't need to be going around with a stroke, if you can go around with a stroke. You don't need to be going around with multiple heart attacks just because you self-diagnose. If there's something wrong, get it seen to. Ask a professional. So let me give you a short 2.5 story of how I almost self-diagnosed myself. I hadn't seen my period for about 3 months. Now, my period has never been the period that was regular. We never went through that. I tried to get it regulated, but everything they tried just didn't work. So anyway, it was kind of as in 1.5, 2 months, but I hadn't seen it for about 3 or 4 months. And I began to think I was probably pregnant. Now, when I was pregnant with my son, I never knew I was pregnant, really. I never had the symptoms, even though in my mind I knew, but in my body I didn't. So I had a feeling that, pregnant. However, I had no symptoms. I was still doing my period at the time. So this is some background information here. And I told myself, I must be pregnant. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm pregnant. 40s, blah, blah, da, da, da. And I to a friend, and she said, I gave her the things that I was going through. I had some hot flushing, some tiredness, not much brain fog, but a bit. And so she asked me a few questions. And at the end of it, she said, you're not pregnant, you're perimenopause. And I went, perimenopause? What's that? And she said, have a look at it online, but you need to go to your doctor to speak to him about what you can do to help with the symptoms. If she hadn't told me, I'll probably be thinking I'm pregnant. And even though, always go and take a pregnancy test, they're not always clear. Well, back in the day, they were not always clear when I used them anyway. But at the same time, the anxiety, because I didn't want to be pregnant at that time. done mine. So I was quite happy looking after the children. I didn't want to be pregnant. But the anxiety of thinking I was pregnant would have been, self-diagnosing, we are not doing in 2026. This leads me on to outdated coping mechanisms. Now, if you see me looking down, it's only because I've got my notes with me. And I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. But this includes coping or managing situations that you don't need to. Okay? Not seeing a doctor if you need to. Carrying on no matter what. We look at our parents, and some of us have seen that our parents cope with everything. We had the stiff upper lip. You know what? Get on with it. Only you. There are people suffering in the world. Get on with it. Why are you complaining about this when there are 10 million people who from something else? No, that's an outdated coping mechanism. And what it leads to is stress, anxiety. It doesn't do us any favors. And so, don't Gen Xer that carries on no matter what. Go and find out the issue and how you can make your life easier. Okay. Don't need to be grateful for pain. We don't need to be grateful for things that are going on wrong in our lives. We don't need to be grateful for those things. What we need to do is seek wisdom and knowledge on how to cope with those things. So that's what I would say. It's time to leave the struggle alone. We're not doing the coping mechanisms. We're not doing the, trud you fall. We're not doing that. We are in our 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. We have earned our stripes, and therefore we are not putting coping mechanisms in place. Now, I'm not saying that something like headache, you can't take a paracetamol and then you just cope with it, and then you finish, you've an hour left at work, the not that bad, and so you decide that, I'm just going to cope with it till home time and then go. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that has gone wrong in your life, a situation, and all you're doing is coping with that situation. Something that will cause you more stress in the end. I know people, for example, in England, where you could lose or you're out of work. There are benefits that you can get just to tide the time. But I also know of people who won't take the benefits, but they're struggling, and the children are struggling as well. And they're coping, but they're not really. They think they are, but they're not really. And it leads to more and more stress. If you're in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond, we shouldn't be coping with things that are not fitted to us, that are not necessary. That takes me on to number 3, multitasking. Back in the day, it was if you do 3, 4, 5 things at a time, you are the bee's knees. But you find out that when you're, especially from 40, 50, and you're dealing with things like brain fog, trying to be the person who can do all things at the same time, it doesn't work anymore. And the funny thing about multitasking is that you never actually do the 5 or the 3 things that you are wanting to do at the same time. You never actually do them properly. And a lot of people who work in neuroscience say it's not good for the brain. I would say maximum do 2 things at a time. For example, if you're cooking, you could be listening to a podcast. But if you think that you want to get into are very, very, intricate, a lot of attention, they need a lot of input, then I would say do 1 at a time and do it well. Because once again, multitasking, you don't do the job. What will happen is that you will go back and fix that thing that you didn't do properly. You'd have to go and do it because you were so in a hurry to do it that you didn't do it properly. And it's not really good for our well-being. It's not. So I'd rather, sometimes I tell people, would you mind if I finish this? Mom, can you do that? And I'll say, I'm doing this at the moment.
It shouldn't take me more than 5 minutes. Can I finish this? And then I'll come and help you. And I think that's a better solution. It's no longer multitasking, is no longer the main character, okay? Especially when it means that the effort that you put into each task actually deteriorates as you go on. So that now brings me on to the fourth one. Something else we're not doing, number 4, by the way, is using our energy inefficiently. It kind of wraps or leans into the third one, but it is still different. You know, there are things we should be doing or not be doing so that we have rest, not only in our minds, but also in our bodies, okay? We are to or should be working smarter at this age. Even the younger are thinking of to work smarter. So how can you be at 50, 60, 70 and not working efficiently? No, we're not doing that in 2026. We're working efficiently. We're working smarter. How can you work smarter? Well, for example, you can put things on automation. Automate your bills. You're not worrying whether you've paid electricity or whether you need to pay this or whether you need to pay that. Put it on automation. Put other things on automation that you need to do so that you're not going around just, running a diary. Have a calendar so you know when appointment is. And again, you're not running around missing doctor appointments and getting the bad notes and for it as well. Because sometimes when you miss an appointment, they don't call you back. That's it. Especially if you've been waiting for an appointment for 4 months, 6 months, and you're not getting called back if you don't take that appointment up. And so we need everything to be in, what we're doing. Use your calendar, whether you prefer writing it down. I prefer to write mine down. I just down whatever I need to. Very simple. So that's me to the end, really, of things that we're not doing in 2026. So I'm just going to recap. We're not self-diagnosing, okay? We're not with outdated mechanisms. We'd be struggling unnecessarily, okay? We're not to the point that we don't know where we're going or when we're coming. And the last one is that we're not using, should I say, our energy inefficiently. We've got less energy at this age and we want to use it working smarter. So those are my 4 tips. What do you think? What are you incorporating into 2026? What are you not doing in 2026? So yes, thank you for listening, and don't forget to rock your decade.